So this is Dean Henderson, and he's had quite the season at Sheffield United on loan from Manchester United. You and I did a piece a few days ago for our YouTube channel about the top 10 goalkeepers in the Premier League right now. And you gave him a glowing mention. He just missed out on your top 5. There's a lot of talk about potentially him being England's #1 for the Euros, ahead of Jordan Pickford. Why shouldn't he be?
Because I don't think Jordan Pickford has done anything, certainly not in an England shirt, to deserve being left out. And that ultimately is what is going to come down to for Gareth Southgate. As we said, as I said a couple of days ago, leading up to the World Cup, there were similarly questions about Pickford and whether he was the right fit and whether he was good enough, and his mentality was what it needed to be in going into such a big tournament. And he answered those critics in emphatic fashion. And then following on from the World Cup, England have simply been outstanding since. They lost to Spain just after, and then they lost to the Dutch in extra time, and then they had a recent loss to the Czech Republic, I think.
But they don't play every week, and this is the thing. Is it form or favouritism?
It's who has his shirt for the England team.
Okay.
If you know, we were talking about who has it, and I make this point all the time. There's a big difference between club football and international football. It's a big difference between a goalkeeper for your club and what's being asked of you for country. And without question, as good as he's been, Pickford has answered those questions. We know how good he will be for England. Henderson is still, as good as he's been for club, we still don't know what he's like in an England shirt. So you play him in friendlies. Or ultimately you wait for Pickford to make an error or to be ruled out. But I don't think you can't just make a clean sweep like that, or
I
clean cut.
I get what you're saying, and he's done really well. These are his stats for Sheffield United this season. The whole point I'm trying to make with regards to club football versus international football, yes, it would probably be a bit of a risk if you're playing Henderson over Pickford. But if Pickford and he's coming for a bit of criticism this season from some.
He's coming for criticism a lot.
Yeah, and he's answered a few. But if he has a few poor games for Everton, this is where I'm going with the form versus the favouritism. Yes, he's done nothing wrong for England for someone to come in. But that's the difference between being a club manager, isn't it, and an international manager. There is an element of more loyalty based on what they did the last time for you rather than what they're doing to an extent in the league. Yeah,
again, without question, you understand that. But I felt there were more questions about Pickford going into the World Cup in 2018 than there are now. And I understand. But listen, this is 22 years old.
And Pickford's been good as well. This is the thing. He's just not been where some people think he should be.
Well, again, looking back on his time at Sunderland and Everton leading up to 2018, I felt the same thing. That he is capable of the outstanding, but every now and then there seems to be a little lack of concentration that has you questioning exactly how good he is, which is all we're doing now. But you certainly have, and I think that this is key, and to be fair, I think England have had good competition for that spot for quite some time, which maybe is why Pickford is as good as he is for England. Maybe he needs better competition at club level. That's something maybe Everton need to think about.
This is a win-win, isn't it, for Sheffield United and for Manchester United?
Yeah.
We saw it with Thibaut Courtois when he was at Atleti as well. He's not going to get ahead of David De Gea right now, but he will in the future, won't he?
Oh, he will. I think without question. And he continues to be solid for Sheffield United. And David De Gea, hasn't rediscovered his form of 18 months or 2 years ago. So if that continues, yes, and certainly without question, I think is in with a shout. There does become a bigger question in what do you do with David De Gea at that point.
Well, he signed a new long-term deal recently, didn't he?
And who signs him? Who signs this version of David De Gea to that kind of money? And then, as we've spoken about, with Ozil at Arsenal, Alexis Sanchez, Henderson comes in, he's #1 and offered a new deal. He's going to be asking for David De Gea money, understandably.
Are you taking him to the Euros as part of your goalkeeper?
Absolutely, yes.
And a future England #1?
Without question, yes.
Future Man United #1?
Yeah, by the looks of it.
High praise indeed from Shaka.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.